Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor. Bare. These verses, taken from Langston Hughes' poem, Mother to Son, captures a phrase that many of us know all too well. The struggle is real. But when I talk about the struggle, what am I talking about exactly? I'm talking about the struggle just to make it to school each and every single day. I'm talking about the struggle to survive inside and outside of the classroom walls. When I talk about the struggle, I'm talking about someone seeking answers to important questions no one seems to be taking seriously. Questions like, why do I go to school? Questions like, what is the point? How is school preparing me for life outside of the classroom space? Is it? Life for me ain't been no crystal stair. What is your story, and how is it connected to a larger struggle? Take a moment and think about it. I remember when I graduated high school. I remember my dad literally pressing his pride into my long black graduation gown. You see, I was the last of my sisters to graduate from high school, and my success was their success. I am because they are. I remember when I walked across the stage. No one screamed louder than my family in the audience. I mean, there was so much excitement. It was another chapter that I was completing. But after all of that excitement died down, and after all the confetti cleared, the next question came. Okay, so how are we gonna pay for school? At that moment, it felt like all of the possibilities that once seemed endless were being crushed one by one by one. I mean, I had gotten and maintained good grades. I studied for and passed all of my regents, some on the second try. I remember poring over databases, trying to find ways to alleviate the cost of attendance. So much so that I lived in the college office. My advisor nicknamed me Midnight, because if it took until midnight to get that work done, I would be there. I mean, I had done everything right? Hard work pays off, right? So then why did it feel like I was being punished because of my socioeconomic status? Why did it feel like I was being penalized for not being able to afford my dream school? Life, for me, ain't been no crystal stair. What happens when life beyond the classroom impacts your life within it? Ben Kirshner and Sean Ginwright, they co-wrote a piece, and they frame young people as agents of change. They talk about youth organizing and the ways in which young people from working class and poor communities, Latinos and African American students, came together and recognized a need in their community. When they talk about youth organizing, there's 3 features that they discuss: the importance of identifying the social origins of our pain, mobilizing, and working. You see, my story is connected to a larger struggle of increasing access to higher education for students whose backgrounds are similar to mine, but also for students who look just like me. What are the tacks and what are the splinters in your own life? When they talk about identifying, mobilizing, and working, what does that mean? What are they talking about? What does it mean to identify? It means to name and establish what or who something or someone is. Have you identified the roots of your pain, the roots of your oppression? You see, in the poem I recited earlier, a mother is talking to her son about oppression, about injustice. A mother is talking to her son about a world that thrives off of the pain of other people. Have you identified the roots of your pain? Have you taken the time to critically think about what that might be? When Jinwright and Kirshner talk about youth organizing, they talk about mobilizing. Finding people and allies and friends and trusted adults in your communities and your neighborhoods who are also invested in healing, who are also invested in making a social change. And lastly, they talk about work. So once you've identified the roots of your pain, once you understand it more deeply, and you've gotten together with people to initiate some form of action, get to work. Because there's work to be done. What is work? Work is movement towards an intended outcome, purpose, or goal. You see, life for me, and for many of us here, ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But today I ask you to work with me as we engage in the struggle so that all of us can have a deeper understanding of the roots of our pain, and so that all of us here can experience restoration from unhealed wounds. Thank you.